What's up, guys? This is Sam Gozo here with Drill Motivation. What I want to talk to you guys about today is a concept that I call defining your inner champion. Now, I used this concept a little bit before ISIS World Drill Championships 2012 in a lot less of a detailed description than you're looking at right here. And I found that to a limited extent, I was successful. However, I found out that I also missed a few minor details that could have gotten me to my goal a lot quicker and could have otherwise prepared me better for ISIS World Drill Championships. So, before NYDC 2012, what I did was I dismantled the process and I broke it down into these categories that you're looking at right here. And I found that the method helped me out with my days of training leading up to NYDC 2012. And I've been using it ever since, not just with drill, but with everything else, because defining your inner champion is about effectively getting to your end goal in the best detail that you can possibly get it to. And it's all about using your mind and your inner self. So, let's get right into it. If you couldn't already tell, this is a composite sketch of you. This is you. Pretty cool, huh? I think I made a pretty good description of everybody, but I digress. Defining your inner champion breaks it down into 4 categories and a few subcategories that I will get to in the video. The broad mind, the inner mind, training your body or work, because a lot of us love to do work, don't we? And your inner fire. We're going to start here with the broad mind and the inner mind. Now you're going to notice that I put stars next to broad mind and the inner mind, and the reason I did that is because the mind is everything. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying that if you think you can, and if you think you can't, you're right. So that means before you embark on any journey, before you pursue any goal, you've got to have the right mental process, and it all begins here with the broad mind. The broad mind is the mind's battle between success and failure. Now let me say something right here. I am not convinced anybody goes into anything with the desire to fail right from the get-go. Nobody goes into anything and just says, I want to do this, I want to fail, yeah. Nobody does that. I've never met anybody who does that. If anybody has, wow, you've met some pretty interesting people in your life. But regardless, we don't want to start off with the mentality that we want to fail. Nobody does. However, we all know we live in difficult times, and difficult times come with a lot of roadblocks, and those roadblocks are going to be what would take someone's mind who is first set on success and just give it away to failure, because hey, like I said, hard times make people want to give up. So, before you begin anything, you want to have this in mind. You've got to have that in your mind when you're going through. That no matter how many times you have something that will put you in danger of failing, the little roadblocks, the stumbling stones, anything of such, anything that would make you want to give up, you've got to keep in mind, I embarked on this journey because I wanted success. This here is what you wanted. This is what you got to keep in your mind. That is defining the broad mind. Now, this brings me down to the inner mind. You said you want to be successful. What is it you want to be successful at? The inner mind is the inner message. The inner message that you want to see overall success blossom into. Now, I'll use this as an example. ISIS 2012, when I was making my reporting sequence, I wanted the inner message to be motivating. Now, when I showed the rough draft of my report into a particular driller, you know who you are, and they said it was motivating, I was happy because I'm like, the message came out. Somebody thought it was motivating. And two other of my closest friends also said that it was motivating. And I didn't even have to say that that's what I was going for. And that's what defining the inner mind is all about. My inner mind is I define a message I want to put out into my drill, and if anybody else can feel that or see it, I feel like I've done it right. So that's what the inner mind is. So to recap the mind, the broad mind is your mind's battle between success and failure. Do you want to be successful, or are you going to succumb to failure when difficulty strikes? And the inner mind is your inner message that you want to be successful at. Now, let's move on. Training your body or doing work. I don't think I need to get too into detail with that. It's no secret that if you don't work for something, you're not going to get it. And if you don't put in work according to whatever your mission is, what are you doing? It's all a matter of moving with a purpose. That's pretty much what training your body or doing work is. Having a specific game plan and moving with the purpose and intent and belief, not just intent, on achieving it. So that's what training your body is all about. Now, this brings me down to the inner fire. The inner fire, that is the excitement, the drive, the motivation that you had. Excitement for practice. Let me tell you something, just as it's very important to have the right mindset when going out for something, having excitement or a burning desire for something is equally as important. If you go into something distraught and distressed, you're not going to get too much more out of it. That's what I believe after all. If you're going to get into something, get into it 100%, get excited for it, get fired up for it, because this is your game, this is what you want, this is what you're working for. So if you're putting in the hours, if you're putting in the days, if you're putting in the weeks towards something that you're doing, why go through it half-heartedly? So, your inner fire, that is that's what you want to get into. Inner fire. So I'm going to go over all this again. Your broad mind, that's where, yep, there's a little mind right there, that's your mind. Your mind is, you want to glow with success. That's what you want after all. The inner mind is the inner message. The inner message that defines how you are going to train your body or work. And that's what's going to help you shine a lot more. This is defining your inner champion in a nutshell. Now there's a few things that you've got to keep in mind when you're doing this. Be fearless. You cannot be afraid to go after your inner self. Because if you are, you won't get to it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger said something best. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't be so caught up in what people say you can't do. Believe in yourself, and believe in yourself courageously. Because when it comes down to it, like I said, it's your game. It's the training that you are going through. Other people can watch, other people can commentate, but you are the one engaging in your routine, in your art, in your training. So, you can't be afraid. And another thing on failure, the roadblocks, no matter how big they are, you can't count them as failures unless you give up. All right? So don't ever give up, whatever you're going for. Even if you don't get to what you need to get to in the time that you want to, try again and keep trying until you get to where you want to get to. That's what defining your inner champion.